Alright, here we are with Silverton. This is a game I thought I had videoed, but I guess I just did a sit down for it. Never really explored how the game is played. I think there are plenty of videos that do that, but I'm playing it now. I figured I'd get my little piece on video. So this game was designed by Philip J. Smith. It's produced by Mayfair Games. This is a railroad game taking place in Colorado, a little bit of Utah, and New Mexico down here. So it's a railroad game. I'm inclined to like it right off the bat. So let's look at the map briefly. Each of these dots is a city or a town, and they're connected by rails. This number in here is how much you have to pay to build that railroad. And then these numbers are used when you're building more than one track segment at a time. The cubes denote that player owns that track. This is kind of keeping track of what's been sold. I don't use these. I do it over here. And then we have a turn track down here. Over here is the goods chart. It's the price chart, so it's a kind of market track. There's a price for each good: gold, copper, silver, lumber, and coal. Experienced players will notice that I am not playing correctly. I have a coal marker for Salt Lake City, or coal and lumber for Salt Lake City, which I shouldn't for one player, but I decided to use them because of these cards. When I started, all of the towns were down here, except there was I think a coal right here and a lumber down here, something like that. So I decided to use those, even though down here it says 1 to 6 players, 2 to 6 players. So I shouldn't be using it, but for this scenario it would be very difficult to play from Salt Lake, getting down to these cities down here. So these are claim cards, and what these are potential, or not potential, but mines that are producing a good. So this shows where it is on the map. This shows how much it is to buy it and then to operate it, which is an interesting aspect about this game. It doesn't produce no matter what. You have to actually send people down who you have to pay to operate that claim and actually produce anything, which is a die roll. All of the mines, all of the claims can potentially deplete, which means they don't produce anymore. Up here we have routes, which are passenger routes. So again, here we have a purchase price. This is what it pays. You don't have to pay to operate this. You're just taking passengers back and forth. You just have to have these cities connected. Which again, these are laid out. You'll always see the same 8 A cards. When one of the A cards is built, you'll see a B card, and then below this is a C card. So you have to actually buy them to get whatever's beneath them. And again, most of these are going from Denver or Pueblo and Santa Fe. So I'm playing the Salt Lake City scenario, which is making that a lot more difficult. What else do we have? So the game rules themselves are pretty straightforward, pretty easy to understand. I do have one question that we'll get to kind of at the end of the turn. 9 pages of rules, which again, really nice. And the best part is 5 solitaire scenarios, which is great. I think you could also play this game multiplayer solitaire, and it would still work very, very well. There's also some advanced rules that I don't think are very advanced. They seem to be pretty straightforward. I'm not playing with them. I think they say it adds about an hour or so to the gameplay, so I haven't played with those yet. Out here we have our goods. We have gold, silver, copper, coal, and lumber. These are the claims, and the passenger route I've already purchased, and this is the money. The game money is actually pretty good. I thought about getting the poker chips out, but this will suffice. Each turn, solitaire is taking me between 5 and 10 minutes, so it's actually less than 5 minutes thinking about it. So we can do one here. We're in a winter turn, which is unfortunate because the track I want to build, you can't build in winter, but let's break it down. So you'll deal turn order cards, and this is used for opposed play. So the turn order is random every turn. And then you prospect and survey. So we have these prospector and survey markers. Surveyors are used to claim track, and then the prospector will claim claims and passenger routes. We only have one of these, which means we can build one piece of track and one claim per turn. So we wanted to build this piece of track. We're at number 10. So the track builds depend on kind of what's available. There's also TOWs. The one bad thing is it's kind of hard to find this stuff sometimes, comparing this star to the map. So this city's right here. I think we'll aim for that. That's lumber. So again, lumber and coal I shouldn't be playing with one player for Salt Lake City, but it's the only city I have. I didn't calculate it, but I think I would have ran out of money before getting to Denver to actually sell anything to. So I just cheated, I guess, and am playing with those. There were no silver, copper, or gold out when I started. Again, like I said, didn't want to build into Denver. So I'm playing with them. If you don't like cheating, don't do that. So we'll survey out to here. We'll prospect to Dolores, which we already have built to, which is here. So the next thing is resolving disputes. Again, when you're playing opposed, multiple people can be trying to build the same track or get the same claim, get the same passenger route. That's when we would do that. So so now we're in the construction operations phase, we get to buy claims. So what we do is we pay $140 for this. Counting money one-handed, that's always great. $140, so now we have that. The first time you operate this, you actually just roll one die and add 6 to it. Other than that, you're going to roll 2 dice. And that's going to give you less of a chance to get depleted when it's first operations. So you'll get something out of it. Then we build track. Again, I wanted to build this one, but you can't build white track segments during winter because they're snowed out. Black turns are winter, and that keeps getting hit. 1, 2, 3. 11. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm in the right turn because I keep hitting it. So what I'm trying to do is get to RA because it has a load of silver for me, but we can't do that. So we built this track segment. The surveyor goes away. 180. Change. Now what we do is operate claims. You can choose to operate whichever ones you want. In the basic game, you can only deliver 2 loads. So I can't connect, or I can't pick this up. Lumber is selling right now to Salt Lake City at 80. And coal is at 100. So I think we want to operate maybe 1 coal and 1 lumber. It's also not a bad idea just to operate them if you have the extra cash, I think. Just to have something there in case something depletes or whatever. So we'll do all 3 of these. That's going to be $120. So in this scenario, the goal is to get to $10,000 in your bank at the end of a turn as soon as possible. So I'm at 12. I think I'm already... I paid for that. Marginal victory. Decisive victory starts at 14. I think I have like 2,500 bucks. So I'm quite a ways out. The victories start here, so I'm quite a bit out from that. But I don't get into draw until 19, so I'll probably play until 20. Because if I lose, I'm just going to lose. I don't need to play it out. But so that's our goal here. So we've paid for all these, and what we do is roll dice. I'll do this one first to remember to just roll 1, 7. So that's going to produce 2 lumber. Lumber tin produces 1 lumber. So this is why it's good to operate multiple claims. And emery produces 4 coal, which is good because coal is doing pretty well for us right now while we're cheating. Make deals again. This is for a post play. Collect passenger revenue. That's this. I paid 50 to buy this initially. It pays 20, so we get $20 from that. And now we get to deliver 2 loads. I'm going to deliver this. Oh, I didn't do coal. So I'm going to deliver this for 400 and this for 160 for 560 bucks. 560 bucks. We pay fines. That happens through events and such. So determine price changes. So this is my question for people who know how to play the game. The rules say the player who went last rolls dice for each marker to determine the price changes. So I'm taking that to do it. I do it for each one of these, even if I didn't sell there. Which, if you don't sell, the price is usually going to go up because it takes into account how much is sold. That's why I put these out here. So that's what I've been doing. If that's not right, please correct me. I'm going to sign off because my camera is running out of battery. I'll come back up and finish the turn. All right, so now we can roll on these charts here, and it gives us the rules for how this happens. We can roll 1 die plus the quantity sold, which for gold, copper, silver will be 0. So that's 3, which means it's +1, it's maxed out. We'll do the same for copper. That's a 1, that's going to be +3, also maxed out. Silver is 2 dice, minus the IDN, which is this number here, plus the quantity sold, which is 0. So we have 8 plus 0 minus 4 is 4, so that's going to be +1. So lumber, again, I've been playing that this only affects the market in which it was sold, which seems to make sense with this. There's a lumber and coal for each city. So Denver's 2 dice minus 4, so we have another 4 that's going to go up 1. Salt Lake City is going to be +2 minus 4, so that is again 4, so it's going to go +1. So that's simulating supply and demand there, and I think it does a pretty good job of doing that. And we have coal in Denver, 5. Plus quantity sold divided by 2, which will affect the coal here, but that's as high as it can go. Salt Lake City, we have 12 plus 2 minus 4 is 10, so that's going to be -1. And then Pueblo, we have 2, so that's going to go up 2, but it's sold out, or it's topped out. All right, so the last thing we'll do is replenish cards. So again, seeing this is here, Peanut Altos. No, it's all the way down here. So, I mean, the start gets you pretty close, but it can be a little bit difficult sometimes to find things. The last thing we do is then advance the turn, and that's it. So in this solitaire game, like I said before, we're racing to 10,000. I think I have about 3,000 right now, 3,500 maybe. So I have my work cut out for me, trying to get 7,000. This Salt Lake City scenario is pretty hard with the setup I had. I don't know if maybe some of the other initial cards make it a little bit easier. The Denver one is good. Everything is kind of wanting to get back to Denver, especially with these cards up here, so you can get some steady money coming in, and then you have more markets over there. Great game. It really makes you feel like you're railroading. In the 18xx games, you're running the stock market, and this you're doing kind of day-to-day operations. A month at a time. Each one of these turns simulates about a month of time. Or, sorry, 3 months of time. It's a quarter of a year. So this is a year. Fun little game. If you're into railroad games, train games, it's great for that. If it's something you're just getting into or want to get into, it's a good game for that too. It doesn't simulate the stock market side like the HNXX games do, but it does a good job of showing the operation, especially with these. I like how these work. The variable market there for delivering goods really kind of makes you have to focus focus and diversify on the different quantity or goods to pick up in different quantities, what you want to operate, so that you can deliver. If you can diversify where you're heading to, that makes it even better, because then if I had routes to Denver, that coal would pay more, that lumber is going to pay more, things like that. A lot of fun, very engaging, fairly quick turns. I think the game, this would last about 2 hours, I would say, opposed, in a maybe 2 to 3 player game. It plays up to 6, I believe, which would probably make the game last a little bit longer, but good intro game for these kinds of things. You can play it at night. It doesn't have to be an event game, so it's really good for that. So I'll probably come back and report on how I do and close it out. So I remembered why this was like it is. This scenario actually tells you to use all of the markets. So I have them all out here. Played a couple turns, came back, and then saw this and forgot about that other thing. So I had started playing with all of them and took them off. I probably should have left Santa Fe on. It looks like I'm going to be building towards Santa Fe. I'm just going to play it how I have it now. That's kind of what I geared to, but I did want to come back and correct that mistake that this Salt Lake scenario, you're supposed to play with all of them still. I think because it's so hard to get things connected elsewhere, you need at least Salt Lake, and I think that's what that's representing. Alright, we are at the end of turn 17 with 10,000 and $10. Barely eked it out on the first turn of a marginal victory. It wouldn't have mattered too much getting in there. Drew Cuba, and it produced 3 right away. Copper was up at 400. And then this turn got Silverton, which produced only 1, but another $400. And lumber had really low rolls and went way up to 300. So kind of right where I wanted to be. This turn would have been a little bit better with a substantial victory, but that's all right. That Silverton really helped, and then Cuba was good. And if 16 hadn't been a winter turn, I could have gotten into Cuba. Maybe I'd been able to pull it out. I'm not sure, but so there it is. One other thing I didn't mention in this scenario, along with the market being different than it would typically be, is you can use another. I've just been using this depletion worker, but You can use this to get rid of other cards, which helps having pretty much just Salt Lake back there, because things tend to be down here and over here, and it's pretty hard to get there. So you can use that as another prospector to just get rid of stuff, and I didn't mention that. So that helps get through the cards a little bit more, and through some of the routes for the passengers. I think I'm just going to leave this set up and play the Denver $10,000 scenario. So you can see the Salt Lake. You can't see. The first victory is on turn 14. Here it's turn 12. This is a little bit easier to play. You actually get 2 prospectors and 1 surveyor, or 2 surveyors and 1 prospector, so you can build track and get claims a little bit faster. And I like that kind of churn and burn aspect. So maybe I'll video some of this, but I'll try to get this one up pretty soon. I know it's been a while. This is a game I really love. I wanted to give it some attention. So that's Silverton for now.